just arrived here after over 2 weeks of being gone. It's been close to 3 weeks since I've been out here at the farm. And you are seeing, along with me, how the garden has done. I have not looked. I wanted to see it for the first time with you with me. So let's see how it's doing. So I don't have things planted in each and every bed, but so here the first one is just empty, except that this is the time of year when everything grows in Texas, not just what you intend, but also weeds. So I see lots of good plants having grown, but also there's lots of weeds. Speaking of weeds, good grief. This is another reason that I want to replace all of these with Vigo beds one by one, because these weeds just grow through. Makes me so unhappy. But anyway, this bed is garlic, and you can see these garlic scapes are coming. Some people cook with garlic scapes. And actually, my understanding is you do want to cut the garlic scapes off because you want the plant to put their energy into making the bulb underground. So I'll put that on the list to get done. Here we are with a bunch of tomatoes. Obviously, these tomato plants have grown like a giant. Let's see what we see here. I was looking at the tomato plants at home earlier, and the plants were huge, but I wasn't seeing much fruit on them. And I'm afraid that's what I'm seeing here. It's so frustrating. Tomato plants are so fussy as far as they're not frost tolerant at all. And then they, it has to be under 90 degrees for them to set fruit. And they're just so picky. I tried to grow less tomato plants this year because I hate to dedicate that much of my garden to something that's not really good. Anyway, I don't see any actual tomatoes here. All right, moving on. More tomato plants and tons of weeds. Do you see some flowers? You know, these tomato cages that I have them in, maybe someday I'll have a low tunnel and I'll trellis them up, but they seem so crowded, and that's not good for the tomato plants. What I do not see, I see some flowers, but I don't see any fruit starting. Now this bed is certainly doing what it's supposed to be doing. This is a medicinal plant called yarrow, and these are the flowers. So I need to harvest them and make products out of them, or even just dry them and sell them as they are. Keep an eye out on the Nonsense Farm shop for that. Here's one little calendula flower. Last year, this bed was half calendula, half yarrow. Well, you can tell which one took over. And of course, weeds. You can see the weeds. I tell you, it's a constant battle. Ooh, I just saw a bumblebee go by. This bed is all peppers of various kinds, and they seem to be doing all right. Weeds, of course. These are cantaloupe. I believe that's a volunteer zinnia. Pulling out weeds is like a reflex. I can't help myself. I see a weed, I have to pull it out. Here's another bed with tomato plants in it. And I do see some flowers. Don't see any fruit. Man, if I have another year this year like I had last year, where I have gargantuan tomato plants and no tomatoes, I'm gonna get out of the tomato business next year. It's very frustrating. Oh, there's one tiny baby. Oh, there's a few. All right, there's a few. Look at that. I don't even know what that is. It's like 2 inches long. What even is that? And here, there's baby tomatoes. There's more baby tomatoes too. And another bed of tomatoes. Ouch. These are volunteer zinnias. Let's see, can you see those? Right there, the volunteer zinnias. I did not plant those. They came up from last year. See lots of flowers. I don't see lots of fruit. Maybe the slicing tomatoes just take longer to fruit. You'll see. Another bed full of tomato plants. Again, I see flowers. Don't see fruit. Let's see what the plant tag says. It's over here. San Marzano. So these are the sauce tomatoes. Oh, and there is one. Well, there's some. One thing I've read is not everything pollinates tomatoes, but shaking the plants helps. And we'll do that a little bit. This is kind of a hodgepodge of a bed. Some things I started on purpose, some things volunteered. So like I did plant these green beans, and as you can see, they are making green beans. They're a little overgrown, so I'll probably feed them to the chickens. This is actually potato that volunteered. Potato, potato. That's more green beans. This is acorn squash, or is it squash? Anyway, it's a squash that volunteered from last year. So kind of a hodgepodge. This bed is all broccoli. I harvested the main heads off of all of the plants before I went to Europe, and I gave it to friends and whatnot. And but I left the plants here because I thought when I get back, I'll feed them little by little to the chickens. But let me show you the other advantage of having left these plants here. I don't know if you ever knew, but broccoli plants flower. Like if you don't harvest the head and eat them, they turn into these yellow flowers, and bees love them. So while I was gone, the plants created side shoots, and then they flowered, and the bees are loving them. Another bed full of tomatoes. I believe these are sauce tomatoes because I am seeing a few of them. I'll be happy to be drowning in sauce tomatoes. Ooh, there's a big one in there. Ooh, there's several big ones. That makes me so happy. Yay, hold on, let me show you. All right. Look. You see them? Look, isn't that great? And then these are a medicinal plant called plantain. Not the banana looking things that like you eat at a resort in the Caribbean, but it's just a plant called a plantain. It's very soothing, good for the skin and whatnot. So I planted this to be able to make plantain salve and whatnot. So watch the show for that, or watch the shop for that. Here's another medicinal plant that I planted. I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to pronounce it, but mullein, M-U-L-L-E-I-N, mullein, I don't know. Anyway, it's supposed to have drawing properties, so you can make a drawing salve out of it. And these are cantaloupe. So I'm going to get these started up this trellis, this cattle panel. So instead of taking over the bed, they'll grow up. Cantaloupe are something that I need to be better about succession planting, so maybe I'll be better about that this year. Oh, and of course this is a weed. And then this is Swiss chard. It's a green. You can eat it, you can put it in your eggs. It looks beautiful. So anyway, that's Swiss chard. It grows really well, does a great job. Here we have a little bit more cantaloupe. Train these up the vine here. And the last few pepper plants. We ran out of room in the last bed, so we put them over here. Of course, there's a couple of weeds, because why not? This bed is full of squash. So I am here in Texas, where squash bugs and squash vine borers are a big problem, and I have really never found a way to organically control them. So the only thing I know to do is to plant squashes early and plant lots of them so that you can get some fruit before the plants get beaten up by the pests. In fact, there's some squash bugs right here. You can start seeing some of the plant mildew on the leaves. So, you know, we're starting to get attacked, but there is some things to harvest. Zucchini. It's so exciting to get your first zucchini, and it's not exciting to get your 78th zucchini. But of course, here in Texas, the plants don't hang around long enough for that 78th zucchini generally. So it's just exciting all the time. These zucchinis make fruit early, and then the crookneck squash are a little later. So hopefully we'll get some crookneck squash later. But yeah, we got a harvest. Look at that. This is a bed filled with medicinals. This part is echinacea. I'll show you a flower closer up. This bed is filled with echinacea. And then this side is filled with comfrey. This comfrey is a medicinal plant that's good for so many things. Another empty bed. Then we have some more squash here that was planted later than the squash I showed you a minute ago. Here's another bed of tomatoes and some basil. Oh wait, and I think there's chamomile over here. Yeah, chamomile. And then we have the last row of 5 beds. Still doesn't have soil in it, so there's nothing going on there. Now, let's go over and look at the in-ground garden. Over here we have this row of blackberries, and then down there there's elderberries and some things. Let me show you how it's going. Look at all those baby raspberries. They're going to be luscious and ripe soon. Look at all that. And then of course a weed, because why not? And then, so here we have some blackberries that I just planted this year. So I rooted these during the winter, and then I planted them. You can see that they're starting to get new foliage, which is great. That's exactly what I want to see. Obviously, we won't get any fruit out of these plants this year, but they are ready for next year. That one's doing great. And you see the blackberry plants there. You see they're irrigated. And then these are elderberry plants. And look what I noticed this morning. The very first suggestion that there will be elderberries. These have been planted for 2 years, or I planted them last year, so I guess they've been planted for 1 year. And they might make some berries this year, so that'd be great. This is a small struggling lavender plant. This is a break in the landscape fabric, which just look, anytime there's the smallest break in the landscape fabric, weeds are going to come right up. Here we have lemon balm, which I'm going to pick some and take home and have lemon balm tea when I go home. It's supposed to be good for stress and whatnot. When I came home with this cough, and hot beverages just feel good on my throat. There's blueberries. I wonder how that would taste. I might try it. All right, what do you think? Is this going to be any good? Let's see. Tastes like a blueberry. How cool is that? pretty pleased with how everything is going. I've got some cleanup to do. Of course, the weeds tend to get ahead of you. But yeah, it should be an exciting next few months as we continue to haul in the harvest from Nonsense Farm. If you don't already subscribe, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video. I'd love to hear your questions and comments about my garden or your garden or whatever other garden. And thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Until next time.